Hey everyone, welcome. This is the third video in the vlog Every Day in August challenge issued by Savvy Sexy Social and Amy Schmittauer. And in the last video, I discussed 5 reasons why a franchise business would be a good opportunity for you. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about how you go about selecting a franchise business. Now, there are thousands of these businesses out there. And I could see why it could be a little daunting in terms of deciding which one would work for you. Now, I went through this process 5 years ago, and I would love to tell you that I created a 100-point checklist that you can use to determine which one would be best for you. But it was actually much more simple than that. First and foremost, I looked at what kind of businesses do I find interesting. Right? You could go to a franchise expo. You could go online to entrepreneur.com, inc.com, blackenterprise.com, and they have lists of these things. One of them is going to pique your interest. So, did you like it? Did you understand the business concept? Is it something that you actually think you can work with? Warren Buffett says he doesn't invest in anything that he doesn't understand. And you shouldn't either, especially when it comes to franchising. If you don't understand the business, if you don't like the business, then definitely don't invest in it. Like, the idea that you're going to be extremely profitable, it's not worth it. It's not worth being in something that you don't like, something that you don't understand. That's actually a recipe for disaster and can lead to potential failure and loss of your money. 2, I think you should consider the culture of that company. Every company has a culture, right? Every workplace environment has a culture. And you want to make sure the culture of that company jives with who you are as a person. Some of these companies take certain positions. I know, for example, there's at least one franchise out there that has taken a position with regard to a certain social issue that's taking place in society right now. That might not jive for you. You should not invest in something that personally doesn't work with who you are, how you feel about yourself. And again, the money is not worth it. You want to get involved with things that you can personally gel with, that you can personally work with, that make you feel good about what it is that you're doing. 3rd, can you work in that environment? Are you cool with the product itself? Can you see yourself doing whatever it is that that company does? So I knew, for example, that I was going to be heavily involved with the day-to-day operations of the business that I invested in 5 years ago. And there's something to be said, at least for me, about telling people what to do, about giving directions, and not wanting to do that thing yourself. It doesn't work for me. Whatever it is that I ask someone to do, I know for certain that I will do it myself, right? And so I have to be able to work within that environment. I don't like making sandwiches, and I don't want to make sandwiches for people, right? I don't like cleaning anything, especially the toilets and stuff. And I'm not going to do that. So I wouldn't invest in a business that does that, even though that business itself might be very successful. It might be very profitable. If I'm not willing to do that thing myself, I don't know if I could actually invest in it, right? Something else that you should consider. Does the product or service that business sell, does the business itself have longevity? Will this thing be successful 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Will it decline because its popularity has kind of waned off? Was it a fad today that won't necessarily be a fad tomorrow? Because when you buy an asset, you want to buy here and you want to be able to sell here, right? You have to have some kind of exit strategy. You want to be able to have your business appreciate in value. And if there's no potential for appreciation, if there's no potential to make profits 5 years from now, 10 years from now, then I don't know if it's something that you should invest in. That's something that you want to take into strong consideration. And if there's no profitability, if there's no value 10 years from the point that you bought that business, then you shouldn't invest in it. Is it relatively affordable? Right? I say relative because for me, I operate in that 300,000 range, right? Anywhere from 0 to 300,000, I feel like I could scrape together the funds. I can go to friends and family. I could go to the banks. I could get the money. If I had to save myself, it would take a little bit long, but you know, it feels reasonable. $1 million, that would be a stretch for me. Right? However, for you, it might not be a stretch. $1 million might be right in your wheelhouse. So it's relative, but you want to make sure it's affordable and that it's something that you can actually realistically, feasibly do. What else? You want to consider, is it easily scalable? Is this something, if you buy one unit, it's successful? Can you acquire other units easily? If it's difficult to acquire other units, or if there are hindrances to acquiring multiple units of that thing, then I don't know if you should consider it. Well, at least I wouldn't consider it. Maybe you only just wanted one. But I would love to have multiple units of whatever it is that I'm going to invest in, especially if the first one proves to be very successful, then I want more of it. And I want it to be easy to do so. Something else that you want to consider, automation. Automation. Is this a type of business that once you kind of get things going, it can operate on its own? I personally, while I knew I wanted to be heavily involved in the beginning, but that was just to get things set up properly. Once things are set up properly, I want to be able to kind of fall back, right? Have the right staffing in place, provide the right resources, and have that business be able to operate without me. If I have to be in there every day, that's going to be a problem for me long term. So whatever business I invest in, I need to be able to automate this thing over time so that it can operate without me having to be there. So I hope you found these things to be beneficial. I hope that you got some insight from it and that you're able to utilize this information. Now, this is by no means the end-all, be-all list for what you should consider. I'm sure there are tons of things that I've left off and that might come to mind. If anything comes to mind, be sure to leave a comment below. I would love to read it. Also, feel free to subscribe and share with a friend who you think might find this information beneficial. My name is J.R. Dorsonville, and this is how I do business. Thanks.